Hi, and welcome to my wake surfing video guide. Today, I will be teaching you the basics of wake surfing. This includes the use of gear, styles of wake surfing, standing up, stance, posture, control, parts of the wake, and finally, how to find the sweet spot and drop the rope. I will be dividing this guide into sections. The full guide will consist out of 8 sections. The sections will be in the following order: gear, style, basics, stance, posture, control, parts of the wake, and lastly, the sweet spot. Having the right gear is essential to having the best wake surfing experience and to help you keep yourself safe so you can shred some wake without worrying about any dangers. The first piece of gear we're going to need to be able to wake surf is a rope, specifically a wake surfing rope. The wake surfing rope is made to pull you and get you behind the boat and on the wake. The rope has a thick base behind the handle so you don't get entangled in the rope when you fall, and the handle is small so no limbs can fit inside the handle. The rope also usually has a bright color so it can be seen in the water. The rope is attached to a thing called a pylon, which is attached to the roof of the boat so it doesn't get in anyone's way when they're watching you wake surf. The second and main piece of equipment you will need to be able to wake surf is a wake surfboard. Wake surfboards have a similar style to traditional surfboards, but wake surfboards have more surface area and are a bit looser when it comes to controlling. The wake surfboard I'm using is a Liquid Force Machine by Josh Williams. This board has a smaller surface area than other wake surfboards, so it has less control and you can turn easily. Wake surfboards come in all shapes and sizes, so choosing the right wake surfboard for you mostly depends on how you want to wake surf and how much experience you have at wake surfing. For beginners, I'd recommend a board with more surface area so it is easier to balance, but mostly it's up to personal preference. Skegs, or also known as fins, can be used to change the way the board feels, turns, and carves. It is like the wheels of a car. There are many different types of skegs, but the main ones we will be concentrating on are the thrusters, which are the big skegs, and the trailing fins, which are the smaller skegs. First, we start with the thrusters. Thrusters make the board more stable when turning, and help you not to slip out so easy when riding, but it tends to make it harder to turn. It can also cause drag, leading you to be a little bit slower. Trailing fins cause less drag, and they tend to make the board very loose. It makes it easier to turn, but also easier to slip out. The way I have my skeg set up is that I have 2 thrusters at the front and 1 trailing fin at the back. The thrusters give me stability, so I don't slip out so easy. But because I have 1 trailing fin at the back, it makes the back of the board loose, so I have a mixture between stability and looseness, which helps me stay up and turn faster. There are different types of skegs that each has a different purpose, but these are the 2 main types used when wake surfing. The style you surf is very important. Knowing which style you surf will make it much easier for yourself to get good at wake surfing. There are 2 styles of surfing: regular and goofy. Regular is when you have your left foot forward, and goofy is when you have your right foot forward. The best way to know which style you surf is to know which foot you kick a ball with. Whatever foot you kick a ball with is supposed to be the foot at the back of the board, as it's your dominant foot. So kicking with your right foot means you are regular, and kicking with your left means you are goofy. Knowing how to stand up is the most important part of wake surfing. If you cannot get up, you can't wake surf. A lot of people tend to struggle with standing up, but I've set it up in 4 steps. Push heels down, slide butt to heels, point toes, and stand up. So to stand up, you will need to lay down in the water on your back. Your back foot is close to the front of the back grip, and your front foot is in the middle of the front grip. Keep your heels on the board and point your feet up. Have your heels close to the edge. Have both hands on the rope and hold the rope above your head, but in front of you. Once you are ready, the driver will go. As you go, push with your heels. The board will flip over on your feet, and as that is happening, bend your knees and try to get your butt close to your heels. The rope will pull you as you do all of this. Do not pull the rope, lean back or lean forward. The rope will do all the pulling work. Once you are up, keep your knees bent and let the board take you out to the side of the wake. Always look where you want to go, and once you are outside of the wake, you can stand up and get on the wake. Now that you are on your board, knowing how to have the right stance is important so you can stay on the board for longer. The stance that you will need to be in is to have both feet shoulder width apart and have your weight over your toes, almost like a Michael Jackson pose. To help you have your weight over your toes, try to keep your back hand out in front of you and towards the wake. You will feel that you have more control over the board. Once you have the right stance, you can go on to focus on your posture. Having the right posture will make it easier for you to control the board when turning and controlling the speed on the board. If you do not have the right posture, it will feel awkward when you try to control the board. To make sure you have the right posture, you can do a posture check. To do the posture check, you take your back hand and push it against your lower back till your lower back is aligned with your hand. Your lower back will straighten and shoulders will be upright, and that will make it easier for you to balance and control the board. Now that you know how to stand up and stay up, controlling the board is the next step to becoming a better wake surfer. There are two ways to control the board: steering the board and controlling the speed of the board. Steering the board comes naturally. If your body feels like steering to the right, the board will do so, but do not twist your legs to turn. That will lead to carving, which is cool and all, but you are going to slip out if you are a beginner. Rather, use your hips to turn and lean in the direction you want to go at the same time. When you turn, depending on the part of the wake you are surfing, you might lose speed and will flush out the back and lose the wake. To prevent that, knowing how to control the speed will be beneficial. To control the speed, just remember that your front foot works as acceleration and your back foot works as a brake. So to speed up, just put weight on the front foot, and to slow down, put weight on the back foot. Too much weight will cause you to nosedive if you lean forward too much, and leaning back too much will make you lose the wake. If you are losing speed, the best way to get back to where you must be is to take your front hand and try to reach for the boat. That will automatically make you lean forward and gain some speed. Knowing where to be on the wake is one of the last steps before you can drop the rope and finally shred some proper wake. Looking at the wake can be confusing as certain places seem like you should surf there, but it will actually lead to you losing the wake. As you can see, there are 5 parts of the wake, and only 3 will make it suitable for you to be able to wake surf. The front of the wake is where there is no actual wake, but you are able to use that space to gain some speed. There is the lip or the top of the wake. It's not a good place to stay because you will lose the wake, but you can use it to do tricks. There is the front of the white wake where you definitely do not want to be. You will lose the wake as you are in the middle of the wake. There is the back outer part of the wake that you also do not want to be in because you will lose the wake. And lastly, the sweet spot. The sweet spot's in between the white and dark part of the water. Once you hit the sweet spot, you will feel slack in the rope and you won't pull back. This is where you should be when you wake surf, and this is the perfect spot on the wake. Now that you have all the basics on how to be on the board, the last step is to stay on that sweet spot and get rid of that rope. Once you see that the rope doesn't pull anymore and you are perfectly still on the sweet spot, then you can throw the rope. The best is to throw the rope on the boat or on the other side of the wake and let someone on the boat reel it in. If you just drop the rope, the handle will bounce around and most likely hit you. Once you are rid of the rope, to keep yourself on the sweet spot, just put a little bit more weight on your front foot while you throw the rope so you don't get washed out the back. And now, you are finally wake surfing. You can play around with the wake, and every time you feel like you are going to get washed out, just lean forward. Now that you have an idea of how to wake surf, go out there and shred some wake. That's the best way to learn, to actually go out and wake surf. I hope you enjoyed this video and that this guide helped you out. Stay stoked and enjoy the surf.